Welcome to Cuckoo English Podcast for daily English practice. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Cuckoo English Podcast. This is a place where we talk about life, feelings, mindset, and personal growth.
And, of course, improve your English naturally along the way.
Whether you're listening while walking, relaxing, or pretending to work while actually listening to us, we're really happy you're here. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Jeremy.
This episode is created especially for beginner and intermediate English learners.
So if you understand most of what we say, you're already doing great.
And if you don't understand every word, don't worry at all.
That's completely normal when you're learning a language.
Just listen, enjoy the conversation, and repeat any sentence you like.
And one more important thing, if you don't understand some words or expressions today, stay with us till the end.
At the end of the episode, we'll explain the important words related to this topic.
And show you how you can use them in real life in simple and natural sentences.
So relax, take a deep breath.
And before we begin, a small reminder.
If this podcast helps you feel calm while learning English,
Please like, share, and subscribe. It really supports our work.
all right, let's start.
So, Sophia, let me ask you something.
Sure, Jeremy.
Have you ever had a big dream and then immediately told yourself, no, that's too much for me?
Oh, yes, many times. More than I can count.
I think many people do that. And listeners, let me ask you something directly. Have you ever stopped yourself from dreaming big because you felt scared, not ready, or not good enough?
If your answer is yes, then this episode is for you. Today, we're talking about the power of thinking big, not in a stressful way,
Not in a change your life in one day way.
but in a gentle, human, and realistic way.
So, Sophia, when people hear the words think big, what do you think they imagine?
I think they imagine big houses, lots of money, expensive cars, success, fame, and along with that, pressure.
Yes, pressure to do more, be more, and succeed faster.
Exactly. For many people, thinking big feels stressful. It sounds like something only confident or lucky people can do.
And that's why so many people feel uncomfortable with this idea. They think, that's not for me.
So let's clear something very important first. Thinking big does not mean being unrealistic.
It doesn't mean quitting your job tomorrow and saying, I'll be successful somehow.
It doesn't mean waking up one day and becoming perfect.
And it definitely doesn't mean comparing yourself with the most successful people.
Thinking big is actually much quieter than people think. It starts inside your mind.
Yes, thinking big simply means not making yourself small in your own mind.
It means you don't decide your limits before you even try.
So many people say things like, I'm not smart enough, I'm too old, my English is not good, I can't do that.
And you know, Jeremy, the sad part is they say these things without testing them.
Yes, they stop themselves before life even has a chance to say yes.
Thinking big means asking a different question. Instead of, why can't I, you ask, what if I try?
It doesn't mean you will succeed immediately.
And it doesn't mean you won't feel scared.
It just means you allow yourself to imagine more.
More growth, more learning, more possibility.
For example, thinking big could mean saying, one day I want to speak English confidently.
Not perfectly, just confidently.
Or saying, I want a life that feels meaningful to me.
Not impressive to others, meaningful to you.
Thinking small is when you say, I'll stay here because it's safe.
Thinking big is when you say, I'm scared, but I'll take one small step.
So thinking big is not about giant actions.
It's about giving yourself permission to grow.
And in this episode, we're going to explore how to do that, realistically, and in a way that actually fits real life.
because thinking big starts with one simple belief. You are allowed to want more.
So it is not about money or fame, but about not making yourself small in your own mind.
Yes, about giving yourself permission to want more.
Which brings me to this question, Sophia. Do you think people are actually born to think small?
No, I don't think so at all. When we're children, we think in the biggest way possible. Kids believe they can be anything. Doctor, singer, superhero, all at the same time.
That's true. And they don't overthink it either. They don't say, let me first check if this is realistic.
Exactly. A child fails, falls, makes mistakes, and still tries again. They don't sit down and say, this one mistake defines me forever.
So if we're not born thinking small, then where does small thinking come from?
It comes from life, from experiences that hurt a little, from mistakes that feel embarrassing, and from hearing the same negative messages again and again.
Like when someone says, be realistic, or don't dream too much, or the classic one, that's not for people like us.
Ah, yes. And what's tricky is that these comments often come from people we trust. Parents, teachers, relatives. They usually think they're protecting us from disappointment.
But slowly, without even noticing, we start believing those voices.
And we don't stop dreaming suddenly. It's not like one day we wake up and say, no more dreams.
Instead, we slowly reduce them. We make them smaller, safer, and more acceptable.
Like lowering your expectations step by step. You tell yourself, this much is enough. I shouldn't want more.
For example, maybe once you wanted to speak English confidently. Now you say, it's okay if I just understand a little.
Or maybe you wanted a different life, but now you say, at least this is stable. Others have it worse.
That's small thinking, pretending to be maturity.
Yes, it looks responsible, but it feels heavy inside.
Because deep down, you still remember that earlier dream, the one that felt exciting before fear joined the conversation.
And often, small thinking begins with one quiet question we ask ourselves. Who am I to want this?
Listeners, let's pause for a moment here. Think about a dream you had earlier in your life. Did it become smaller over time?
Not because you weren't capable.
Because you slowly learned to doubt yourself.
Jeremy, what do you think is the real reason people stop themselves from thinking big? I mean, after everything we talked about, there has to be something underneath all of it.
Honestly, Sophia, if we're being very honest, I think most of the time the reason is fear, not lack of talent. Not lack of opportunity, just fear quietly sitting in the background.
Yes, fear of failing, fear of trying something and realizing, oh no, this is harder than I thought.
And fear of being judged. I still remember once I tried to speak English in front of a group and someone laughed. Not loudly, just a small laugh, but my brain recorded it like a movie trailer.
Oh, I've been there. I once gave an opinion in a meeting, felt very confident, and then someone said, "Are you sure about that?" Suddenly, my confidence left the room before I did.
And let's not forget fear of looking stupid. That one is powerful. I once avoided asking a simple question because I thought everyone else already knew the answer. Turns out, nobody knew.
And sometimes it's something people don't talk about enough, fear of success. That one surprises people.
Yes, because success brings change, and change means new expectations, new responsibilities, and new pressure.
Exactly. If you succeed, people expect more from you. You expect more from yourself, and suddenly staying where you are feels safer.
I remember once I got a small opportunity that could really help me grow. Instead of feeling excited, I felt nervous for 3 days straight. I thought, what if I can't handle this?
Same here. Sometimes fear wears a very logical mask. It says, maybe later, or this is not the right time. But inside, it's still fear.
Listeners, quick question for you. Which fear stops you more? Fear of failing or fear of what people will say?
And here's something very important we want to say clearly. Fear does not mean you are weak or incapable.
It means you're human. Every person who has ever grown felt fear first.
The goal is not to remove fear completely. That's impossible.
The goal is to notice it, understand it, and still take a small step forward.
Because courage is not the absence of fear. It's choosing not to let fear make all your decisions.
And when you realize that, thinking big becomes less scary. It becomes possible. It becomes something you can practice slowly, imperfectly, and with kindness toward yourself. That's when real growth finally starts.
So if you feel afraid right now, that's okay. It doesn't mean stop. It just means you care. And caring is actually a very good place to begin.
And if you're listening and thinking, okay, I understand my fear, but now what? This part is very important.
Yes, please listen carefully, because this is where many people misunderstand the idea of thinking big. They hear think big and imagine they have to change their whole life overnight.
Exactly. Thinking big does not mean acting big immediately. It doesn't mean making dramatic decisions or putting pressure on yourself to transform instantly.
You can have a big dream and still take very small steps. In fact, that's not a weakness. That's the healthiest way to grow.
I learned this the hard way. There was a time when I wanted to improve everything at once, my skills, my habits, my confidence. I made big plans, woke up motivated for 2 days, and then felt completely exhausted.
Same here. I once wrote a long list of things I wanted to change and looked at it every morning. Instead of feeling inspired, I felt stressed before breakfast.
That's because pressure kills motivation. When you expect too much from yourself too quickly, your brain starts to resist.
But small actions feel safe. They don't scare your brain. They quietly say, you can handle this.
And those small actions build confidence. Not confidence from thinking, but confidence from doing.
For example, if your big dream is to speak English confidently, the small step isn't giving a speech tomorrow.
It might be speaking one sentence out loud today, or listening to a short podcast and understanding a little more than yesterday.
Thinking big is about direction, not speed. You decide where you want to go, but you walk there slowly.
And when you move slowly, fear doesn't disappear, but it becomes quieter.
You start trusting yourself. You see proof that you can show up even on days when motivation is low.
That's why thinking big works best when it's gentle, not aggressive, not rushed.
Listeners, take a moment here. Ask yourself this honestly. What is one small step you can take without fear?
Tell us in the comments. Your comments may inspire someone else.
Just a step that feels possible today.
Because big change is not made in one brave moment.
It's made in many small, quiet choices that you repeat.
And when you understand that, thinking big becomes something you can actually live with.
Not something that scares you, but something that supports you.
Sophia, now it's time to talk about something deeper. Thinking big doesn't just change your goals. It slowly changes how you see yourself.
Yes, because when you think small, you often see yourself as someone who waits. You wait for confidence, you wait for permission, and you wait for the perfect moment. Life starts to feel like something that happens to you, not something you take part in.
When you think big, even quietly, that picture starts to change. You begin to see yourself as someone who grows, not someone who already knows everything, but someone who is learning and moving forward.
And that difference matters a lot. When you see yourself as someone who waits, you're careful, silent, and always observing. But when you see yourself as someone who grows, you allow mistakes, learning, and small risks.
Thinking big doesn't mean you suddenly feel confident all the time. It doesn't mean you become fearless or perfect. That's not real life.
It means you become brave enough to try, even when your voice shakes a little, even when you're unsure, and even when the result is not guaranteed.
I remember a time when I thought of myself as not that kind of person. Not confident, not talented, not ready. So I waited. Years passed while I was waiting to feel different.
I relate to that. I used to believe that confident people were born confident. I thought something was missing in me. But later, I realized confidence grows only after action, not before it.
That realization changes everything. You stop asking, am I good enough? And start asking, what can I learn from this?
Thinking big slowly replaces self-doubt with curiosity. Instead of judging yourself, you observe yourself. You notice progress instead of only problems.
And over time, your inner language changes. You stop saying, I can't, and start saying, I'm learning. That small shift is powerful.
Because the way you speak to yourself shapes the way you live your life. Thinking big is not loud. It's gentle, but it's consistent.
Listeners, let's pause here for a moment and reflect together.
Who do you want to become? Not next year, not suddenly, but slowly over time.
Do you want to be someone who tries more than they wait?
Someone who allows growth instead of demanding perfection.
Someone who trusts themselves enough to take small steps again and again?
Thinking big means choosing that identity every day, even on days when progress feels invisible.
It's about becoming a little more open, a little more curious, and a kinder to yourself.
And when you start seeing yourself this way, your dreams feel less heavy. They feel possible because you believe in the person walking toward them.
Before we end, we want to hear from you.
Have you noticed a change in how you see yourself when you started trying, even a little?
What is one moment when you surprised yourself by being braver than you expected?
And what kind of person are you slowly becoming right now?
Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. Your story might help someone else feel less alone.
This podcast is a reminder that growth doesn't need to be fast to be real.
So, this brings to the end of today's episode. Thank you for spending this time with us, reflecting, learning, and growing together.
If this episode resonated with you, leave a comment, share it with a friend, and keep coming back.
Until next time, keep thinking big, not loudly, but gently and honestly.
And remember, you're growing, even when it doesn't feel like it, and that's something worth celebrating. Bye for now.